What made you decide to go into business for yourself?
Essentially, as a mom, I needed some flexibility. I really needed the ability to manage my time, balance my home life with my work life, and the only way I was going to be able to do that with any sort of freedom was going into business for myself.
How has that worked out for you, the
It's
balance?
been amazing. I probably work more hours than I would have worked working for somebody else, but on the other hand, I work those hours at my convenience. So I am in the office all day long while my kids are at school, but I do still drive them to school every morning and I'm with them every evening, and then I just go back to doing my work afterwards or earlier in the morning. To manage it all, to keep sane when you have to manage a business full time, you need to manage kids, their schedules, their appointments, and then there's the household and the groceries and all the things that come along with being a mom and having a whole household. So I guess that's the most challenging, and it's finding the time to have me time. So my me time has become waking up at 5:30 in the morning and giving myself that extra hour. That's just all about me, not about the computer, not about the kids, but just about exercise or taking the time to set my goals for the day. That's really where I've had to sneak in the me time.
What are some other tips and strategies that you can share with us that you've learned over the course of being an entrepreneur?
That if I'm not in control of absolutely everything, the world is not going to fall apart. I've learned to give up on certain things, not be as much of a control freak, because if I want to be a control freak, then I will make myself nuts. So I've learned to delegate. I've learned to trust people and their opinions and realize that there is another way of doing things that's not only mine.
How did you go about preparing yourself before you decided to take the plunge and become an entrepreneur?
I did a lot of crossing my fingers, a lot of pep talks from my family. It was definitely, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, so I've seen the success that can come out of the hard work. And really, that's what it came down to. It was taking the plunge. My husband was very supportive. My family was very supportive. They thought I had some great ideas, and they really felt that based on how motivated I was, that I could accomplish whatever I sought out to do. And it was the family support that really made a difference in giving me the stepping stone to leave a full-time job and go out on my own. That I have to work much longer hours than I ever imagined I was going to have to work. But also how quickly you can be rewarded. It's an amazing sense of accomplishment. When you reflect at the end of the year or end of a fiscal year and you look back on your year and you see what you've accomplished and you see the kind of clients that you've garnered and you see the feedback from consumers, that is really beyond any of my expectations.
How would you say that being an entrepreneur has affected your parenting style?
I guess it probably makes me have very high aspirations for my children. I have very independent, strong-willed children. So I guess on an ongoing basis, as my husband and I are both entrepreneurs, we try and instill that. Even though they're very young, they're 5 and 6, we try and teach them as much as possible to be independent. And the longer we're in our own businesses, the more I think we push that on our children, that you can accomplish anything, and it doesn't have to be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever those professions are. That you can have an idea and you can actually make that idea come to fruition. I think you have to be a very motivated individual. I think anybody can be an entrepreneur, but to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to be very motivated, you need to be very dedicated, and you need to realize that you're going to have to do all the little aspects that, even though they might not all interest you, there's going to be the cold calling, there's going to be the research. All of those things might not be interesting, but they are a necessary means to an end. So really think out what you want to do, what you think you can accomplish, and more importantly, I think take that idea out to people and get objective feedback. It's not enough to just ask your parents or your husband what their idea is, because family never wants to put your ideas down. They always want to instill confidence in you. But I would really speak to some business people, speak to a mentoring organization, send your idea out to a few different people that you trust, and get some feedback and see whether they think it's a really viable business plan. Because we all think our ideas are the best ideas out there, but sometimes it takes an objective group to really tell us, whether they think this is something that could go or not.